stuck into this.
Come on now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Quaddie Poddy for one last time this year. Cashy joined by brother Mock, Will Cashmore again because Nick is still in Thailand. It was touch and go whether or not he was going to be here because you did originally tell me that I'd get back on Wednesday. Turns out he gets back on Thursday morning. Nick didn't read his dates properly. But yes, he will be back. But he'll be streaming live on Dabble on Friday if you are interested in that. But yes, Will Cashmore, how are you, mate?
Good to see you again, Mitch. The kids back. Punters wanted what they wanted, and I'm back in the show. It's quite not surprising to me that ever since my first appearance of the season last week, your Instagram following has grown by almost 2,000 new followers. Not stunning to me at all, despite the fact that I tipped 0 for 10 in the Hunter card. But today, for the Gong, I dare say I should get on the board with at least 1 or 2. So stick fat punters, stay with me.
The feedback was relatively positive for you, but then it dropped off pretty quick when we realised you went over 10. You went nude on your first ever appearance in a few years.
Well, I got Jimmy Star.
That's not a brag.
I got Joker's Grin.
That's not a brag.
Well, hey, mate, I know they were short in the market, but they had to still get the win. Angel Capital chased hard, but my man kicked.
But you still went nude at on the Hunter at Newcastle. That was our point. You went over 10.
I went the quality of the card, mate. It was dog shit.
Oh, it was shit. And that's why Nick and I have discussed at length if we're going to continue to have the Gong and the Hunter in our lineup or if we're just going to cut it off at Champions Day going forward. But the reason we like to kick it on is, and we'll go over that in a couple of minutes about why we do like to kick it on to the Gong. But I mean, it's tough racing. It was a tough day for punters.
Yeah, very tricky.
I went 2 for 10. 2, not like, super big winners either. Like Brave One was your favorite. Green Spaces was your second favorite. Like nothing to hang my hat on. It was a lean day all round.
Apologies to anyone who followed me on Verity. I was way too excited on that horse. Apologies.
I mean, and I think the only thing that really needs you to know how bad of a day it was is Asterix was winning a race. So like,
yeah, that got up huge, didn't it?
Like ridiculous day. But I mean, Jimmy Star, like you said, also got up short, but duly saluted. The moral trifecta that was Jimmy Star, Angel Capital, and Evaporate got up.
Yeah, powerful stuff. We'll talk about Jimmy Star a bit soon. Maybe, easy win, really.
My mate told me, I can't remember. Well, no, it was Lucas McNeil from Footy. He'll be listening to this. He goes to me at training. I swear it was him that goes to me at training. Oh, yeah. Like I got on the Cornella or he got on the trifecta. I thought it would pay more than like $6. I was like, it's a 7-horse field. The $1.70 favorite won. The $2.40 second favorite came second, and the $4 third favorite came third. What did you expect?
Nah, he's a clever man. Lucas McNeil presents well. I think he knows more than what he leads on.
But he did say Fangirl was a fraud. And then she won the very next week. Also, I'm pretty sure it said Jimmy Star was a fraud. I can't remember.
Stop it.
But
Lucas, seriously.
But so we're finishing it off this week, guys. It's been a massive season, and I just want to touch on that really quickly. A bigger season to date. We just keep getting bigger and better as the years go on. Not as many of you tuned into the Melbourne Cup podcast this year, but we're not mad at that because we know that those were just casuals that would, just click because, it's the Melbourne Cup, I need tips. So we have really started to build a community of you guys that tune in live each and every week. You show up each and every week. We have 1,000 people listening to the Hunter episode of all people, like of all episodes. Like it's crazy. Like the support you've shown us this season. And I know Nick echoes these sentiments as well. It's been phenomenal. And we've really just loved to see the page grow. We've loved to see the pod grow. So many people writing in each week with listener questions, so many people calling in each week that we've had to limit how many we play and read out on the pod. The fraud board segment, which we'll get to, all the people writing in on our socials each and every week. Love what you're doing, boys. Don't stop. Saying g'day to us out in the street. A couple of times we've been at pubs and Nick and I have been recognised, getting photos for them. It's unreal. And as Will said, we've grown by at least 3,000 followers in the last few months, 2,000 of them coming in the last week. But I mean, that's no secret why those followers have been coming. Not you, William.
Good stuff, lads. Good stuff, people.
It's because it's Ashes season. It's Ashes season, and we've been posting some pretty iconic Ashes clips. It's got nothing to do with your shitty tips, mate.
Keep pretending.
But
Brother Mock knows what he's doing.
We're very keen on the Ashes here at the Mock Sports. So you're going to see a lot more cricket content coming your way. And there will still be some horses content coming your way throughout the summer as well until you hear us for the Magic Millions special. Still undecided whether we'll be heading up for the Millions this year. It's been discussed internally. We've still got to figure out if that is actually going to happen or not. But yeah, to cut to the chase, the reason we like to kick onto the Gong, even though it isn't a great race day apart from the Gong itself, is it's our birthday. It is officially the Mock's 5th birthday today. We've been doing this for 5 years now, and it's gone by in an absolute flash. 5 years ago today, Nick and I sat down in our bedrooms. We got on Discord live chat of all things. We downloaded this third-party bot called Craig. And like, so you would type in basically a command that said like /Craig listen, and then it would like come up, Craig is listening. And then basically whatever you said in the party chat for the next however long, it would record, and then you could download that recording back, and that's what we'd submit to Spotify. Like, it was so low tech. It was so shit. We did it for the Gong weekend because little did we know as 18-year-olds that the Gong wasn't like shit. We thought we've just come off our first of a Spring Carnival thinking that every weekend at the races was huge. Like, again, showed that we had no right to be starting a podcast about racing when we were ripping and tearing into summer races thinking that it was just as big as the spring.
Every race day can be huge if you look for value though, Mitchell.
We're coming off the Champion Stakes and going, all right, take us to the benchmark 72, having no idea what a benchmark 72 meant. One of those at the Gong knowing that they're all donkeys. Like, it was literally just because the boys said, record a podcast so we can listen to it and just get on Spotify. How funny it would be that you're on Spotify. We did that. 10 people listened for like ages. And then we rebranded. Those were the Mock Racing Club days, if you remember it. We rebranded the Mock Sports. And then, yeah, the rest is history. 5 years later, we've got over 1,000 of you listening each week. We've got 20,000 plus years strong on the socials. We've done some really cool things that, like, you know, knock on wood, if this ended tomorrow, which I know Nick and I have no intention of it ending tomorrow, but if we said a long time ago, like we said about in our second year of doing this, if it ends tomorrow, it's been worth it because we've done some sick things. Like highlights of the last 5 years include our very first year, the Golden Eagle, all the boys. Nick still says it's his favorite mock moment. All the boys in our group chat on ice bath at $51 after I said, get on it. It's a swimmer. It's going to be a slop fest. And we thought we'd won until Colette in the wet swooped it. Zing on again, shout out to the TMRC group chat boys getting on Zoom in COVID, getting the crypto horse Zing on and just going absolutely nuts when it won its race.
On the like trackside crypto.
Yeah, it was simulated crypto racing. It was it was online crypto, basically a tab trackside shit. You could own a tab trackside horse. Yeah, okay. That was unreal.
Nice.
I mean, we've been to the Magic Millions and covered that meeting and met a lot of trainers and syndicators. And, you know, too many to really mention. Thank you to the Stridal people for taking us there. We met the Corinda boys, and most importantly, we met the Monarch team, which we now have 3 horses with. Shout out to She's a Sword, October Star, and the soon-to-be-named Captivant Colt. Big careers ahead of them. We went to the Boxing Day test in a box, thanks to Dabble, thanks to our incredible sponsor there, Dabble. That's just unreal. Thanks to them again. We got 3 minutes alone with Josh Giddey, Patrick Cripps, Tom Mitchell, got to record stuff with them. That's another massive highlight. Like, it has just been like, it's been tops. Like, and if we end it tomorrow, it's all been worth it. Because, again, Jack Jenkins, shout out to him for letting us into his hotel room week of the fight. We're in like the on lockdown UFC hotel in a fighter's room 2 days out from the fight, interviewing him about how he's about to go in the big fight. Like, another thing that just regular people who haven't had the courage to start their own brand, start their own pod, get to do. Like, we've interviewed jockeys, we've interviewed trainers, we've interviewed UFC fighters. Like, we've just done a lot of cool shit that I'm going to be able to tell my grandkids about, and Nick's going to be able to tell his grandkids about. That, like, yeah, it's all been worth it.
Yeah, outstanding, mate. Like obviously this has been all your journey with Nick, and the way you've just thrown yourself into this. As I said last week, a real proud older brother moment. I probably don't say that enough, but to see the way you and Nick have really grown and really worked hard and never given up at building this brand has been really incredible to see and really inspiring, mate. It's actually unreal. So congratulations to you and Nick. Happy birthday, 5 years. Hopefully another 5+ to come. Yeah, think about it now, right? What, 11 plus K followers on Instagram. I don't really know too much about the dabble and other social media sides of things, but you clearly have quite a large scale following on those platforms. Just think where you could be at really in 5 years' time, mate. And you just never know how big your brand can go. So from me as your brother, I really hope you don't give it up. I hope this is a passion project. It was from the start. It still is. I really hope you don't give it up tomorrow. I hope you just keep forging ahead with it, mate. Just keep pushing. I know you love your horse racing. It's a real, as I said, passion you've got. And I just, hope you just keep going, mate.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. I didn't even need to, we've gotten so wholesome so far, some wholesome memories. That's why I wish Nick was here, man. I just want to reminisce with Nick. I love you, but thanks, he is the co-host that's been with me the entire time. But I mean, it's all been worth it. Our goal is, and always was, try and catapult this into some sort of job in the sports industry. Nick's been able to do that with working at Fox Sports. I've thrown my hat into the ring for the Giants social media role. I'm not going to get it, but I just want to start getting my name out there into the sports social media world. Just being able to, my goal was to be able to go into a job interview like that and be like, yeah, I run the Mock Sports page. Same thing like Nick would have gone in the job interviews and was like, yeah, I run the Mock Sports. Yeah. And they're they know what that is and they go, oh shit.
Don't underestimate yourself, mate. I think you're doing a lot better than you might realize in terms of getting your name out there. The fact that how often you get noticed at the races and when I go with you every now and then, I can't honestly fathom how you get noticed so much. As again, I'm looking at you through an older brother lens and that's a little bit different, but you're clearly getting your name out there with the right people and the right sort of, I guess, target audience really well. And that noise will only get louder, I think, the more you just keep pressing ahead with it. Again, 5 years' time, you never know where you could be. And within that 5 years, I reckon you keep going, mate. There's no reason why you can't kind of achieve even more great stuff.
And 100%. And before I stop, blowing smoke up my own ass, I will just say, 5 years' time, if we're still doing this, we'll be 28. It'll be 10 years of the Mock Sports. I would love to think that by then,
Ascot.
By then, if we're still doing this 10 years down the line, that goal to use this to catapult us into other jobs has no longer needed that. We are doing this full time.
Absolutely.
We are in our own Mock HQ office. We have our own employees. We are a big network like Clubby Sports, like Bloke in a Bar, all of the ones that are out there. I want, if we're still doing this in 5 years' time, I would love to think that the Mock Sports has gotten to the point where they are one of the leading, sports brands, podcast-wise, social media-wise, in Australia.
Not just horse racing, but all sports.
Yeah, we're really starting to drive out our niche, and we're building that community of these young punters that just love sport, love a punt, and like to look at the more chill side of racing, like to look at the fun side of the punt, fun side of sports, not take everything so seriously. We're not newsbreakers here. That's not our shtick. We like to take the piss a bit. But I like to think that if we're still doing it in 5 years' time, we're gonna be huge.
Absolutely.
But let's stop, blowing smoke up my own ass. Let's get into why we are here. Let's quickly touch on the spring that was.
You deserve it, mate.
With the spring that was. Again, I'm sorry, punters. The only reason we spoke so long about that is the fact that it's 5 years. It's a big milestone for us here. But the spring that was, we start at the start of the spring with Horse of the Spring and Flop of the Spring. Horse of the Spring, I can't even remember who I said. I think it was Aliana, which is probably going to end up one of my closest to flops of the spring. Flop of the spring was Mr. Brightside. Did not turn out. He's still a king. Go on, Mr. Brightside. But who do you think now, looking back, who was your horse of the spring?
Me, horse of the spring, number one, gets the big bickies. I think it's be pretty hard to go past half yours. I know that horse you have a bit of a different relationship with that horse.
No, I respect that horse more than Knight's Choice. Knight's Choice, I hate that horse.
But, yeah, absolutely. But I think you can't really go past the new Cups Queen. I think winning that Caulfield and Melbourne Cup double, I think it's, like you've mentioned to me in the past, it's a little bit, it's tough in the sense that it only happened 2 years ago, I think, without a fight. Yeah. So it's now that it's happened twice in 3 years, it's going to become, I think, an assumption that it's the norm for people that misinform punters or people new to the game who don't really realize that it only really, like, if you look back in the record books, it happens twice, if that, a decade.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Statistically speaking, statistically speaking, which is like how I like to really look at my racing, you shouldn't expect it to happen again for quite a few years. But you've still got to respect its achievements, right? Going Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup double. Jamie Mellon was able to find the gaps when they present themselves and just absolutely smash it through them. So you've got to respect that. But also won the naturalism as well earlier on in spring. Was right up there in the Turnbull as well. You've got it, like, that Turnbull race was unbelievable.
Form race this spring, really.
Bloody hell. You got to respect that as well. So, yeah, I think half yours for mine gets that on the Cups double. Autumn Glow, not too far behind. Definitely the horse of the Sydney Spring. That's kind of nowhere near up for debate. But, yeah, I think overall, horse of the Spring, for sure, I think I've got to go with half yours.
I mean, yeah, I've got to be boring as well. I mean, Autumn Glow, still undefeated. Next big thing.
They're the best for a reason, right?
And then, half yours has to be mentioned. Like, I know that when I put this clip up on socials, everyone's going to say, but you thought it was a pretender. Yeah, I was wrong. It's a really good horse. No horse does the Cups double without being a really good horse. Training performance of the year, if it's not strictly business's training performance, to go from it's where it was 14 days before
Maiden to,
but yeah, half yours and Autumn Glow, firmly probably the top two horses of the spring. And then if you go a step down, you still got to mention Via Sistina after its horrid start to the great start to the spring, horrid middle bit, and then to pick itself back up and go back to back in the Cox Plate and then dominate what was a very weak field in the Champions Stakes anyways. But I will, again, shout out a horse that we gave a lot of shit. You got to mention Cheetah Wolf in these conversations as well, because started off terribly. And we wrote it off. We put a line through it. Not only was it on Fraud Watch, it was a fraud. And then came out and won the 2 best mile races of the spring. So you got to give it its due there. What about flop of the spring?
Flop of the spring. I know import, but yeah, I was way too keen on Presage Nocturne in the Melbourne Cup, as I know. I think that'll end up being your tip. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, got that one really wrong, but that is an international import. So probably unfair to really claim it as the real flop of the spring. You mentioned it before. Aliana, I think, didn't really get a big win for Chris Waller like there was probably expectations for her to be, in great races with a lot of competitive, a lot of tough opposition, sure. But, I think it was probably expected to do a little better than what it had. Its Cox Plate run and result wasn't great, So, I think you probably would have expected Aliana to be a little bit more competitive. I'm not going to say bright side. It's still placed in a few races, and it's an old horse. Aliana was supposed to be a bit more on the up and didn't quite get the spoils it hoped to. So, I'll lock that in for flop of the spring.
Again, I have to agree with you. It's got to be Aliana. If you're looking at a horse that had so much hype coming in to the spring, it's got to be Aliana. Lady Shenandoah, you got to be putting in the conversation as well. I know had some tough breaks, got turned into a sprinter when arguably she's not a sprinter. But considering the hype that was on her and was considered the number 1 seed to be knocking off Kaying Rising and then going nowhere near it, and was meant to go down to Victoria and piss in a Group 1 and again didn't really get anywhere near it, you have to consider her. And then again, Aliana, like you said, great first up run, but then didn't really kick on with the job. And considering how much hype and how much on the up she was going into the spring, she just didn't come back. And maybe she gets better in the autumn, but until she starts to really prove herself at weight for age level, maybe she is forever going to be one of those horses that was great as a 3-year-old and then just didn't kick on. It's just one of those things that we have to wait and see. I really hope not, because she had all the chops in the world to be one of our next big stars. So I really hope she comes out and blitzes the autumn. But for now, she's got to be the flop of the spring. Yeah,
next prep's really important, I think, for Aliana. She's going to have to prove a lot of doubters wrong, like Cheetah Wolf came back and did in some of his races this year. Or this spring, sorry. But, Aliana, really, really important key prep next up for her. Shenandoah was interesting, wasn't it? It was really what I found interesting about Shenandoah was that no one ever really lost faith in Shenandoah, if that makes sense. I know David Hayes was still talking about it in the few days before the Everest, after all that, silly Wood Kaying Rising run or not. Once that all got done and dusted, I think the main horse that David Hayes saw as a danger was Shenandoah. I remember her remember him saying that he would have preferred if Waller put it in the Eagle instead of the Everest. Like,
should have gone
or,
to the
you know
Eagle,
what I
in
mean?
my
Like,
opinion.
so no one ever, even though it had underwhelmed in its lead up runs, no one really ever lost faith. There was everyone was still really keen. No, it'll bounce back. It'll still be competitive, but just never really got itself going and up towards where it is expected to be. So I think you can definitely chuck it, maybe not a fraud watch. That's not really my jurisdiction, but definitely I think it could be in the conversation for flop of the spring.
As Nicko and I said very early on when it was announced as a sprinter, massive Zougotcha vibes. Like Chris Waller needs a sprinter. Let's just pick probably our sharpest 1,400 a mile horse and turn it into a sprinter for the Everest. And that's what we got with Zougotcha. That's what we got with Lady Shenandoah, I think. I'd love to see her back up to the mile next prep, but I mean, I'm no Chris Waller. I'm not going to doubt him. Who are your top 5 horses in the country coming out of spring?
As in top 5 horses? Yep. So Half Yours gets the number 1 seed. Autumn Glow number 2. Very, very easy 1-2. I think, you mentioned Via Sistina. Pretty easy number 3. The Champion Stake field was pretty gross, but still has to still get the win. Cox Plate win was outstanding as it was the year before. Not. Jimmy Star, for me, number 4. I just really love Jimmy Star. Super consistent and honest all campaign. Some big wins mixed in with some really unreal losing efforts. So Everest run, despite getting third, still was outstanding. Real fan favourite, can't be disputed, I think. Enjoyed success across Victoria and New South Wales, different distances. Just a real all-rounder. I think you got to include him in top 5. And for me, I end up with Observer and Apocalyptic that I have as kind of equal 5th because, I think both 3-year-olds, they really dominated their competitors for most part in the spring. But for mine, both lacked quality challenges. I don't think they were really ever in doubt. For example, Observer in the Derby, I think it was never really in doubt to win that race. So, great results. But if I had to pick one, I'll probably go Observer just because Apocalyptic did get knocked off in the Guineas to finish off the spring. So if I had to tip it either way, I'd go Observer. But I'm pretty happy to lap them both in together as my 5th seed for the spring.
Well, I've got probably a very, very similar list, if not almost identical apart from one other horse. Top seed has to be Via Sistina. You're not going to argue me off that hill. Via Sistina to go back-to-back in a Cox Plate, especially the way she had to pick herself up mid-spring, she's still our top seed horse, 100%. I'm not going to take any sort of abuse from anyone that's going to say that I'm an idiot for saying that. Via Sistina is still firmly our number 1 horse, in my opinion. Autumn Glow is still firmly number 2, in my opinion, until she really starts to tackle greater horses every single start and really announces herself into the really big races in the autumn. She can't be said that she is better than Via Sistina. Half Yours has to be number 3. Cups Double speaks for itself. Jimmy Star, number 4, has just, again, gone to another level this prep. I'm looking forward to seeing him over the mile because I do think he is probably better at that stage. Everyone's going, oh my God, he's going to the mile next prep potentially. He started off as a 1,400, 1,500 meter horse. He got turned into a sprinter and was a damn good sprinter, but I think he's still going to be just as good over longer distances. And then, like I said, when it came to the horse of the spring, you just had to consider Cheerwolf. Cheerwolf was firmly in the top 10 horses coming out of last spring and then did piss all in autumn and dropped out of that top 10 and then probably wasn't even in the top 25 first half of the prep and is now firmly back into my first 5 calculations after winning the 2 best mile races in the country. You just can't disrespect him by putting him anywhere further. I think if you don't have him in your top 10, you're crazy. I know that he's annoying. I know that he chews up a lot of your money, but to win those races, I know everything went his way, but still, you got to win him on the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I reckon you should be arguing that he's a top 5 horse in this country. And then, I feel like our jockey's going to be very similar. Top 5 jockeys coming out of the spring.
Yeah, I'll go J-Mac, number 1. I think he brought it back with the spring, with the Flemington Carnival and getting that Cox Plate win. I think, he was, super competitive again. And, I think it's really stood up. Jamie Mellum, number 2, Cups Double. Didn't get any other big wins from memory in the spring. Sorry if I'm wrong there, Jamie. I know you're probably listening out there. But, number 2, I think, still the Cups Double. Mark Zara, outstanding spring, getting plenty of Group 1 wins. I thought Zach Lloyd has been one of the more consistent and competitive jockeys in Sydney. I think I haven't looked deep into the stats, but he just seems to always get big wins. He had a few really big days, I think with 3 or 4 win cards, which is really quite good for a youngster of his class. And I'll just go to the old favourite, old veteran, Craigie Williams at my number 5 spot as well.
Yeah, I've got J-Mac, Zara, Jamie Mellum, who's really come back into form this spring after a couple of, shocking carnivals. But to her credit, after that fall, she wasn't really the same rider, wasn't riding with the same confidence. Now definitely is and is back to her best. And then, Blake Shin and Craig Williams, pretty self-explanatory. Damian Lane stiff to not get a top 5 spot there. Someone in our live chat pointed this out, and I'm really glad they did. What the hell? Where is Sir Delius in our top 5 rankings?
Oh, yes.
I'm glad they put that out there, and they're like, oh, it's recency bias. I'm going to say no, it's not. I thought very hard about putting Sir Delius in the top 5. I would put him towards the back end of the top 10 purely because while he looked like he was going to be our number 1 horse coming out of the spring, that injury that took him out of the Cup, took him out of the Cox Plate, took him out of all of those races, I think stops us from being able to put him anywhere near the top 5 because while he looked like an absolute gun in those first 3 starts, all in big races as well. And he had a great winter as well. Like he's been a great horse at every single start in Australia, but we just haven't seen him produced on a grand final day against the very best of their horses at their very best. Like, yes, he took down some good horses. He took down Via Sestina, right? But didn't get to take down Via Sestina at her best on Cox Plate Day. Okay? Took down some really good horses in our staying divisions. Took down half yours, but didn't take down half yours on Melbourne Cup Day, if that makes sense. That's why I would say that Sir Delius still can't be argued to be a top 5 horse in this country because it still needs to show us that it can produce its best against the very best when they're at their best.
Oh, mate, you don't have to convince me. Like, I think you're 100% right. Sir Delius is an outstanding horse. I think it definitely belongs in the top 10 of spring. But, shoulda, woulda, coulda is a big thing in horse racing.
Yeah, but Nick and I always say it, hindsight's a blessing.
It was primed to be extremely competitive and be right up there for a Cox Plate, maybe even a Melbourne Cup, right? I'm pretty sure it was right? Yeah, you look at me like I may have got that wrong. No, I thought so. Yeah, Melbourne Cup as well, right? And absolutely, he could have won both, let's say. But again, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It didn't get the opportunity to prove that. It's not its fault. It's bad luck. But yeah, I feel like you can't really throw like 5th max, right? You could maybe slide it into that 5th, like in terms of mine, over an Apocalyptic or Observer, right? Otherwise, I don't think it can go into the top 5. You think again, you got 5 horses. You can only have 5.
Yeah, exactly right.
Glow, Sestina, and half yours are in there, indisputably, in the top 3. You got 2 left, right? Yep, got the Turnbull win, but unfortunately, it didn't get that chance against the full quality fields in those other big challenges. So you can't really, I don't think, put it up into that top 5 class. Well, yeah, that's all I'll say there.
100%. Okay, I've got to quickly, because we've got to get rolling here. We've been chatting for almost half an hour now, and we haven't even got to the hotline or fraud board or listener questions. Like, I know that most of today's chat was going to be mock chat and spring racing review chat, but we've still got to, talk about this week. Let's just go through the fraud board and how we're going to end that off for the spring. I'll just put that microphone down. I hope you can sort of hear me still and you can see that. I know it's not I'll steal Will's mic. I know it's not our traditional board here. I forgot to get it from Nick's. But yeah, we've got Charmstone here after doing what it seems to always do, winning a Group 1 and then going on to do nothing. You've got Aliana, like we've discussed. We've got Lady Shenandoah, as we've discussed. Linebacker after its failed attempt in the Golden Eagle. Antino after its failed attempt in the Cox Plate. And I'm going to add a couple more horses here. Where is my marker?
I like how you've got Antino on there, mate. Really let me down in the Cox Plate. Good God.
Going to add after last week's failure. Boom favourite in the Hunter. I was on it, ran dead last. Yorkshire is going on there. I'm putting.
I think I got second last in that one.
A horse that was really boom horse that didn't really do any good. King Zephyr's going on there.
Good call.
King Zephyr's going on Fraud Watch to end the spring.
Surely gets another couple of chances, no?
No, you're definitely on Fraud Watch.
Pretty harsh there, Mitch. Brutal stuff. I like it.
Anything else that we really like to be going on Fraud Watch? I know a few people put in some good suggestions on social media. In the live chat, let's just quickly see. Woderton has always been on there, and Woderton got crossed off. So Woderton's officially a fraud. Woderton's no longer on fraud watch. That's why he was on there, and there's been a line put through him. Yes, here we go. What's his name? Someone put it on social media. I'm just scrolling through all of them. Within the law. Can't draw a barrier, but still, you'd think after the hype that was on it this spring, it needs to go on there. And you know what? I love her. I really love her. I think it's a case of old girl slowing down. I still have her in my top 10 horses, but everyone's been begging me for this. I'll put her on there. Fangirl. So we have 9 horses on fraud watch at the end of the spring. 9 horses on our fraud board. Headed into autumn. They're going to have to wait till autumn to get their names off this. I took Gringotts off just because I feel like everyone's going to argue that, Gringotts should get off there because it won on Cup Day, and it's probably going to piss in the gong this week, even though I don't really think that gets it off fraud. It's beating up on shit horses, but we'll keep him off there for now. So that's what fraud watch is looking like going into the autumn.
Sounds good.
Now we can quickly get into the hotline. Like I said, we have so many of them now, so don't be too depressed if we didn't play yours. We have to be selective. Starting off with Corey Thompson, we always got to get around the characters on this show, and Apocalyptic Man is one of the biggest ones.
How are we, lads? Not real much to talk about this week. First off, just want to say, Brother Mock, congratulations on your tipping last weekend. That was that was something.
Did you follow me, mate? I hope
you
you
almost
did.
Went 100%, minus the one at the front. But other than that, I thought I'd just call up this week, and I would since it's the last episode, I'll just call up and list off my 5 worst horses this spring.
I like it. I like it.
No particular order. First off, nepotism.
Yeah, shit horse.
How I joked him 3 times for a 0-point return is criminal. Yeah, probably should, stop racing, to be honest.
He wants to call my team.
Next up, Woderton.
Yeah, Woderton sucks.
Yeah, I think she'd just go to the breeding pen already. Terrible horse. It's just, nothing else to say. Middle Earth, shit.
Oh,
Vauban,
third in the cup.
shit.
Come on.
And last but not least, Allow Kants. Can you put him on the fraud board, please, man? He is fucking terrible.
Do it for Cozza.
But anyway, last
Perfect
episode,
10,
boys.
mate.
Congratulations on hitting 10,000. Quick apocalyptic news. He's back in 2 weeks. Sorry, she's back in 2 weeks. Don't want to make that mistake again. And big up Smashing Machine. If you know, you know.
There you go. LR Cans has been put on the fraud board for you, mate. Big up Smashing Machine, 100%. That Captivant Colt, the name we've submitted is Smashing Machine.
Good.
Hopefully we do get it there. I still say unnamed because we still got to get that signed off.
Well, it's
But
not
yeah.
Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I like Rob. Marcello Laguna.
Boys, Cello Laguna here, also known as Big Papi. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I just want to make an addition to the fraud board, if possible. Stocks, he needs to go on the fraud board. Hasn't tipped us a winner between Woden and the thing he tipped at Gilgandra or Gundagai or Kalgoorlie or wherever it was last week.
Yeah, Gundagai.
Rubbish. Another hot take. Gringotts will not win the Gong this weekend.
Don't mind that.
61 kilos again. Had a massive run last start in the big dance or barn dance or whatever dance it was. I just don't think he can back it up. I've been proven wrong before, but I think with this one, I will be correct. Load up around him. Cheers, boys.
There you go.
What an entertainer.
We got Stock's Bloodstock to respond here. Let's see what he says.
G'day, boys. Joy from Stock by Stock here. First of all, I'd just like to say fuck you to my Gladiola.
Oh, fucking oath. Last leader.
why did you lose? Yeah. We move this weekend. Get Relass. Sunshine Coast, race 9. I've got a bit of info on the horse. Been following it for a long time. I said it's going to be a really good horse in the future. It's won dominantly a trial last week. It's $11 in the moment. I think it is going to be in it for a long way, and I think it can give the race a real shake. But have a good weekend, guys, and up the mocks.
Thank you, mate. I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate how much of a character you have become on this show this spring with our hotline. Goodness me. Everyone loves hearing the stocks call in weekly, and fuck Woderton. Jake Holland.
Boys, I just want to know, why does Cashy look like Sam Lawler from the Richmond Footy Club? And don't tell me you can't unsee it.
He keeps telling me this. He keeps texting in saying that I look like Sam Lawler. Sam Lawler follows us, so
Hey, was
ask
that everything?
him.
Was that all he?
Yeah, that's all he wanted to
That's
say.
it? Wow.
Sam Lawler follows us, so ask him. Text Sam Lawler and say, you look like Cashy from the Mock Sports. He'll know exactly who you're talking about and get his thoughts on
You
it.
certainly don't play like Sam Lawler from the Richmond Football
I
Club.
wish I
Your
played
2K
like...
time trial time is nowhere near Sam Lawler's from the Richmond Football Club.
And this is from, shout out Aaron Langdon.
Yes.
I work with this guy. He's been begging me to play this on the pod. Let's see what he has to say.
Bookies, just a quick little opinion. Say you're going over to meet the new parents, and you rock up to old Daddy Doss's place, and you got old Gracie in next year, and Daddy Doss says, "Let's go over the back to the Nets, champ." Do you choose, if you win the toss, do you choose to bowl first at Daddy Doss, or do you bat first? Now, if you bowl first and he walks at you, just like he did back in the 05 Ashes series, do you, 1, keep bowling you there, hoping that he pumps you down the ground like he always did, or 2, do you bowl him a short one the next ball? And secondly, if you bat first, do you immediately walk at him straight away, first ball, like he did to Annie Caddick back in those old Ashes series? Anyway, just some head noise for you, boys.
There you go. He's a massive cricket nuffy. So
Clearly.
if you're meeting the new parents and you're batting with them in the backyard cricket,
Run him out.
If you bat first and he gives you some, if you bowl first and he walks at you, are you allowing that, or are you giving him some chin music? Or if you bat first, are you walking at him as a big dog move first ball? What are your
As
thoughts?
someone who can't bowl a bouncer very well, I'll probably go the opposite and I'll walk at him with the bat. I think I've got a bit more confidence with the stick at the moment than with my bowling. Yeah. So I'll go with that one.
There you go. All right, let's roll through some of these listener questions. Ronick says, thanks for the laughs, banter, and knowledge in 2025. Looking forward to 2026. Thank you, mate. Adam Annette says, not a question. Just make sure you're back and collect your cash, race 9 for the Omen bet. I am, don't you worry. Harry Sport says, is the party way over in the odds in Cranbourne Cup? It's paying like, I think, $19
I'm pretty sure
in
it's
the
already
Cranbourne Cup.
it got scratched from something I saw today.
Well, there
Whatever
you go,
race
maybe.
it was supposed to be in. If it was in 2, 1, it's been scratched from 1. So it's Cranbourne.
We'll talk about that later. Dicko asks, since there was no IME running around this spring, can we name another horse that's like better at the listed and group 2
What's his
and
obsession with
group 3?
IME?
He's just obsessed with that horse because we've won on that horse a lot.
Right.
Can we name another horse that's like GOAT when it comes to like group 2 and group 3, but terrible when it comes to group 1s? Like, what sort of other horses come to mind? I was talking with him today. I was saying,
again, so horses that are
great
good
at like group 2, group 3,
group 3.
but terrible in group 1s. I would say maybe a Gringotts.
Yeah.
I
feel like
Gringotts has won a group 1, but still, like, I think better at the weaker side of things.
God, I wasn't prepared for this question. I'd have to do a little bit of thinking. Off the top of my head, I'm going to go with this one. Off the top of my head, Lindeman's been awesome this spring.
True.
Is
So
Lindemann
true.
a good pick for that one?
Lindeman's
Has it won a group 1?
No, back in the day when it was
Okay.
a like 3-year-old, I'm pretty sure it won I'm confident that it beat Pericles in the Rosehill Guineas.
Okay.
I'm
Pericles,
confident in that. If you go back, someone fact check me on that. That's some real racing nuffy stuff because I was there on that day. I'm pretty sure I was on Lindemann. It was something in the Lindemann Silks if it wasn't Lindemann, but I'm confident.
Maybe.
And it was a Godolphin horse, and I'm pretty sure it was Pericles. But fact check me on that, guys, if I'm incorrect there. And then Hey Doss asks, g'day lads, when do we expect to see October Star and She's a Sort back at the races? in the next few months. They've only just come back into the camp, back into the Richard Litt camp, and they're going through their education now, going through their training to get them nice and fit. Then hopefully barrier trials by the end of the year, and then hopefully early January we're headed back to the races, and we're winning a few races with them. Very, very keen for that. Like
Slipper.
I said, no, not Slipper, they're 3, but Smashing Machine, Slipper. But yeah, like I said, that we're gonna have to cut it off there because we're gonna be going for 2 hours if we go through all of them. Again, thank you guys for sending them all in. We really do appreciate it. Let's just start rolling through these tips, mate.
Done. Let's do it.
We should probably be able to get through these in less than 15. It's a nothing card, really. The weather's fine at the moment. The track's good for it at the moment, but it is meant to rain in the next few days.
Saw that on the forecast.
We should get down to probably a soft 5 if all that rain comes, but nothing more than that, I don't think. Soft 6 is probably your maximum. And the rail's in the true position the entire time, so it should be as fair can be. Race 1, the midway, 1,400 metres. Not much to say about this. It's a nice open field, as they always are. Shout out Miss Mock. Miss Havar's going around for her family. It's at $67. I think it deserves to be at $67. It was dominant Hawkesbury a couple starts back, but the race before that, it did nothing. The race after that, it did nothing. But it's won huge odds before, so shout out to them. Good luck to them. I hope it wins for you again. If it does win again, we've tipped it on the podcast at Big Odds before. Miss Mock is shouting the bar at Kembla on Gong Day, and there's going to be a lot of people there, so look for Miss Mock. She will shout you a drink. She probably won't. She'll probably tell you to go piss off because she has no idea who you are. But yeah, shout out to Miss Mock for Miss Havar. I've settled on Oakfield Satin instead here, though. Great win at Gosford last start. Only got going late. It's only going to relish the jump up in distance. $9.50 to win, $3 to place in the midway.
Yeah, I'll go with number 8, Callistamon at $7.50 a win. Get used to the benchmark 72s and 8s for today's punters. There's quite a few of them. And yeah, open field here. Not a lot jumping out at me, but I think this horse usually likes first up. Karen McAvoy seeing jockey on top, which I think will help. 4 times from 5 placed at Kembla, which is quite sound. Enjoys wet ground. I think it's likely, as we said, likely to come Saturday in the South. Real honest customer. I think if McAvoy can find the right lane in the key moments, I think it's as good as any to get the job done. So number 8, Callistamon for me.
All righty, mate. Take us to race 2.
Shall do. 7 furlong mark, 1,400. The highway. To me, I'm heading towards a horse in the highway this week that has been really competitive in longer distance highways in the city, similar to an Upwardly Mobile who went on to win last week's at Newey. Upwardly Mobile, really competitive, really honest in previous city highways. And for me, I'm going to follow a similar sort of pattern in terms of its previous runs. For me, that lands me on number 10, Write Your Own, for Tommy Berry and Matt Dale at $9. Starting from gate 2 in a sharper race, I think will suit them. 3 race recent starts of 1,400 metres were all top 4 finishes, one of which was a win at Maruya. So for that reason, there's enough there to convince me that they'll be good enough to get the win here.
Good stuff. I have settled on Tommy Flyer. Pretty simple. Coming off 2 on the bounce. Can get 3 on the bounce here. He's gone from a country donkey to a city donkey, or a provincial donkey, really, since it's at Kembla. $14 to win, $3.60 to place. If the leaders are having a day out, this is the horse to be on. It's really going to kick up there. Going to be at the front. It's going to be at the right part of the track. If it's a leader's day, should hopefully be in the finish there. Race 3, the 1,000-meter benchmark 78. A lot of so-so horses here, including the perennial cat Frilled. That's a horse that used to be the punter's best friend after being, I think, undefeated its first 5 starts of its career, and I don't think it's won since.
I remember that, yeah. Then one came like 6th, I think, in like a race 10.
Yeah, it was like the people just loading that horse left, right, and centre, and then it's just fallen off a cliff.
Yeah,
I'm sticking away from for that reason. I've settled with Hawker Hall. Has some really good form. If you look back through his last few starts, he's run behind some really good horses who have performed well in stakes grades since. So, should find himself in the right part of the race come the final stages. Nice each way price, $6.50, $2.25. Yeah, Hawker Hall for me.
Cool. I'm going to go with a local horse here, number 9, Zaragoza for Dill Gibbons and the Price Boys. Super record at Kembla and is a real professional natural at this track. 4 wins in 9 starts at Kembla, only missing the trifecta once in those defeats. Loves the quickness of a 1,000-metre race. It's never been out of the trifecta at the 5 furlong mark. Was great up in class cut weeks back at Randwick. Now back to BM or benchmark 78 and handles all ground. I'm really well over this one, Zaragoza, number 9.
There you go. Race 4, mate.
Benchmark 78 once again over 1,200 meters. I think for me, the top weight Weeping Woman looks really good again. Only qualm is that he does get a 2.5 on top, go up in weights, up to 61 kilos for Nash. But I think that'll be challenging. But in this field, it won't be enough to get me looking elsewhere. It was great winning last start, fresh at Rose Hill. I'm backing him to be progressive again here. So I'm on the number 1, Weeping Woman.
There you go. I'm a big Umrikaya guy, or Umrika. I always struggle to say it because it's a weird spelling. I always say America, even though I know that's not how you say it. Like it's, but yeah, followed it a lot throughout its career. I mean, had a better on at most starts. Pretty good results to start off with, then fell off a little bit its last couple of starts in the career. But I mean, she sure loves running first up, which she is here at $4. I'm very keen on its chances as we move to race 5, the 2,000 meter benchmark 78. Hurstfield's a greb. You're short favourite in this race, punters, and it went pop last start when my tickler Scare was able to beat it at Rose Hill.
Yeah.
And I mean, gets an easier field here, gets probably a better setup, should find the right part of the track. Again, if it's a leader's day, this horse really shouldn't be losing. I mean, you should just get it done, right? Right, William? You should be getting it done. Are you on him?
I'm not. I was on him last time, and that was that's enough for me to get off. Okay?
Yeah, I've played around him again. Like he should be winning, but I think I've found a horse that has more of an advantage when it comes to betting on it, like heavier for the place than it does for getting on this like $2.60 favorite. I'm getting on a horse that's $2.60 just to place, and that is Oceanfront. Won the Cessnock Cup 2 starts back, beating Black Run. Black Run, if you know, has won its last 2 starts since that start.
Caulfield last week, won again.
Yeah, went down to Melbourne and won as well in some, nice fashion. Harder fields than this, so I mean, it's good form to have. It's also won 3 straight, this horse. So I really am struggling to see why it's at $9 to win, $2.60 to place. And to get a horse to place as much as the favourite is to win, I just think I'm getting on this horse more on the place though. So if I was to be putting $10 on this horse, it'd be $2.50 to win, $7.50 to place, sort of thing like that. Oceanfront for me.
If we weren't going for as long as we have been, mate, I'd probably say that all again in synonyms. But point is, I'm on number 2, Oceanfront as well. You said it better than I could. Let's move straight to race 6.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Grossest race I've ever analysed, or since resuming my Mock Sports podcast career, race 6.
Maybe he'll get his first one. He'll be 1 for 15. If he
Another benchmark 78 over 1,200. Nothing stands out here, to be honest. So I'm just honestly, I don't see anything else that appeals to me except for number 12, Quietly Arrogant, for Tommy Berry and the Snowden stable. 3-year-old that raced in the slipper in autumn. Never figured, but if it initially had slipper quality, then that's good enough for me here, honestly. Like literally nothing else appeals. So it was in the slipper. So for me, I'm just going to hope it rips in fresh. Only winning 7 starts was on soft, so that's not nothing. Senior jockey on top also helps. But yeah, real tough here. $7 for Quietly Arrogant. And like you said, it could be my first win of the resume the career. So you best bet I'll be the opposite of its name if it gets up. Quietly Arrogant for me.
Very loudly arrogant.
Fucking oath.
I like Dawn Service here. I mean, this is a very well-bred horse, very talented horse. At least it was in its first few starts. Waterhouse and Bott would have had real big hopes for this horse, considering it ran a narrow second to Autumn Glow in one of its first starts, and then went to Tackle Group Racing and didn't quite match up to that level. Dropped all the way back to benchmark 78 and started pretty short, but then had a health issue. So now it's had a very long time off. I think almost a year off, really. And they've been trialing him well, really trying to get him back to racing fitness. And they always do. You rarely get a Gay Waterhouse horse coming to the races underdone. So you get him at $11 to win, $3 to place for Autumn Glow form. Like, I know you got to go back a while to find that form, but I mean,
wow. I didn't look far back that far.
Like second to Autumn Glow in its career. Clearly, it's got something under the hood. Hopefully, it just hasn't lost all of it. And I think it's a big price to be getting for a horse that has been running around in much better company than this all its life. So Dawn Service.
Sound logic.
Race 7, the 1,000 meter, the Warra, the
Love
sprint.
That name. One of my favorite
great
race
names. Great race this, and I've been on the winner a few times in this race, and I hope I found it again. I've set it on a horse that I have a big opinion of, and that's the Black Cloud. I had a really big opinion of this. If long-time listeners will go back to this pod, I think either last spring or maybe even autumn, I was saying this is the next thing about it. Just like a proven thoroughbreds horse for Joe Pride that's been rising through the ranks and it's finally got a crack at City Grade, and it's going to blow them all away. It didn't. And I think this is really its ceiling. Group 3 listed grade.
Black Cloud really rained on
yes.
your Black Cloud. Hey?
It certainly did. I don't think I was like, this is a Group 1 horse. No, Group 3 listed probably is its ceiling. Comes here fresh. I mean, should ride the speed, be dangerous late, $6 to win. Zealously going to be very hard to beat. Very good horse, Zealously. I'm going to kick myself if it gets up because I've been riding it all prep, and I'm jumping off for the Black Cloud here. But yeah, I like it at $6.
Yeah, not bad, mate. For me, I couldn't look past Zealously. Like you just mentioned, it's a very good horse. I think it will be very hard to beat, and is a natural fave here, just a spec of head of $2. Just beat Ray Magnerio at Caulfield on Cup and Everest Day, and won a benchmark 100 fresh. Loves to peak third up. He's at the sweet distance. 1 from 1 at Kembla, 3 from 6 from the distance. I could go on and on about the statistics. Tommy Sherry on top hasn't ridden before, but I think he's been sneaking under the radar a bit lately. Tommy Sherry. Had a lot of bit of success, so I'm right on board here with Zealously in the Warra.
Unreal, mate. I'm just going to quickly go through race 9 because race 8 is obviously our last race for the tipping comp. 1,600-meter benchmark, 88. Sometimes you just got to go and home and bet. And, you know, my man in the listener question said, make sure you're backing it, and I am. I mean, if you look through its form, it's actually not horrible. Collect Your Cash. It's been around some horses that have run very well this spring. So, I mean, $7.50 to win, $2.40. Let's go. Collect Your Cash.
Yeah, bang. Love it. For me, number 2, Our Gold Hope. Drops in class here, gets to his home track. Again, riding for Berry and the Price Boys. I'm on a couple of Tommy Berries today. Draws a real favourable gate, number 2 gate I think it's in. And I like the Wooten Verney and Lindemann form being competitive in group races behind those 2 winners previously this spring. So, yeah, didn't really want to look too far past that. I was on Wooten Verney its last 2 wins. Like that horse. Was all over Lindemann all spring with a lot of success. So, yeah, I feel like that's, for me, that's my omen.
God, that Lindemann form did me shit all last week with Mason Louis. Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's a good point. Hopefully I have a bit more success here.
All right, take us through race 10, mate, to finish us off for the season.
Benchmark 78 to finish over 1,400 metres. Midnight Dynamite. Bjorn in the last. Say less.
Just to fly for me in the last. Rare that you see a Waller trained, Yulong owned, Colt. And a benchmark 78.
What's it called? Just to Fly.
Just to Fly. It used to be a Perth horse, and we know my thoughts on Perth horses and the fact that Perth racing really doesn't count. It should be its own jurisdiction.
And you say that in the last episode of the year, the last being drop the mic before the Ascot Carnival kicks off in WA. That is just stiff, mate.
I give a lot of shit
You might
to
be
Perth
getting
racing
a big following in
and
Perth.
Perth horses.
Not anymore.
They should be their own racing jurisdiction. Your Group 1s are not our Group 1s. Who won the Railway last year? That shit horse from Railway Stakes.
Was it as a party?
No. Oh, yeah, you might have ridden it for the Annabelle Nation camp.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Come on, yes.
Port Lockroy.
Port Lockroy.
Port Lockroy is a Group 1 winner because it had to go over to Perth to win one. That's how much you need to know about Perth racing. Port Lockroy is a Group 1 winner because Perth exists.
Merck this year, maybe?
But, I mean, Sydney horse probably wins that. I'm not on a Sydney horse. I'll touch on that later, but I wouldn't be surprised if some Sydney Raffy wins it just because they're over in Perth. I love you, WA followers. Don't you go not listening now. If you're still here, you know that I hate WA racing because of Amelia's Jewel. But yeah, I'm tipping one. $15 to win, $4 to place. We get that price because first up, it ran at an not ideal distance, and it had Yalmarera on board and rode it upside down, and it came last by a mile because this is an up-on-pace horse, and he said, nah, let's drag it back to last and see what happens. So, I mean, Just to Fly to finish off at big odds, and I'm pretty sure I've just gone a whole card without tipping a favourite, so stick that up, you my haters that say I only tip favourites.
Are you suggesting that if I finally get some wins on favourites that they don't count, Mitchell?
No, it's just that everyone always tells me I only tip favourites, and I say, well, you just don't listen to the pod. All right, the great spring tip-off. Again, Nick's tip is going to be up on the socials this weekend. He went the last-ditch effort last week with his jokers to try and get some points on me. Not to be. He's still 50 points off me. The final tally will be out on Saturday night once it's confirmed.
Who did he go
and have victory?
He went Robusto, didn't he?
Yeah, he went
Brudenell
Robusto.
would have been better. I thought he was going to go orange Brudenell because that came home pretty good, didn't it?
I'm surprised he didn't. But like looking at this field, I mean, you got Mickey's. No, that's the wrong race. You got Gringotts is your favourite, $2.10. You got Duke de Sessa at $21.
Caulfield Cup winner in the Gong.
I know.
That's like that blew my mind. Also, who's Adam Farrago? Is he?
He's an Irish jockey.
I was
going to
say that. I never saw that name before.
New Endeavour as well. Victoria Road, a couple of Cox Plate runners in the
Yeah, but at a big
the
price.
Gong.
Bloody hell.
Waterford, Territory Express, Lock Eagle, Detonator Jack, Port Lockroy, Sandpaper,
Detonator
Tabby Time,
Jack,
Amor
former winner.
Victorious, Democracy Manifest, Palmetto, Regal Asmon, Ducasse, Shadizi, and Touristic. All right.
Stop it.
Big field, big prices all around. You'd have to think that Nick, I already know, Nick's probably going to go Waterford to try and catch me at $41, or he'll go Democracy Manifest. Does that give him enough points? It probably does. Victoria Road, the only other option really for him. He's going to have to go one of them if he wants to catch me. So don't be surprised if he picks them. Obviously, the loser has to go through the Spice Gauntlet, stepping up from, chilies to the spiciest things in the world. I don't know how he's going to go. I take Spice better than old Nicko, but he's basically guaranteed until the Gong crosses the line to be eating those chilies. Again, for those of you wondering what's happened with the Pilates for his autumn one, I repeat, they didn't block us. Sorry, they ghosted us. We were meant to go, and then on the day they cancelled us, and we've texted them like 5 times since they've ghosted us. We need someone to let us film Pilates in their studio.
Well, leave it with me. I might have one for you.
Please do.
I might have one for you. I'll be letting my good mate Andrew Milne know about this soon.
Please do. But
I'll get back to you on that, Mitch.
Back to the
Andrew,
tipping
stand
comp.
by.
We know that Nick is nowhere near me, but I've managed to lob us 3rd place currently in our big tipping comp with 175 other punters. 3rd place is $500. I'm happy with that. I'll take that.
Bad. Is that Nick Highland? Is that Matty McVeigh still
Matt
up number
McVeigh
2?
is second. Nick Highland's stepdad.
Who's Macca?
And then Macca, Jason McGilroy. Shout out to you. He is firmly in
Good on you, Jace. Uncle
front
Jace.
spot. He's 13 points clear of 2nd place.
Well done, mate.
He's in the box seat to be winning this.
Good
If
on you,
he
mate.
just sees anyone that's paying less than about $8 win, he knows that he's got the chockies, which is almost $3,000.
Fucking oath.
And
Well
if that
done.
sounds like a great profit for you, that's $30 into $3,000. $30 entry, $3,000 was the first prize this year. If you sound like that's something for you, make sure next spring you'll
the
get
way you're
involved.
growing, buddy, that's going to raise.
We might be doing one in the autumn as well. We might be doing one for Magic Millions Day. Next year, we're planning on expanding our portal and running a bunch more comps. So keep an eye out for that. A lot of people have been asking me, what are you going to do with the money if you win your own comp? I will not take it. I will be providing some sort of giveaway with the money. I'll spend all of it on some sort of merchandise, some sort of memorabilia, some sort of experience that I can raffle off to all of those that are in the tipping comp. All of those 175 punters are going to get an equal chance at winning. But yeah, I'm just going to go straight to the point. I could be boring and tip the favorite here and just know that I've beaten Nick, but I mean, and take my $500. I'm 3 points clear in 3rd, so I still need to pick something to stay up there. I'm 18 points behind 1st. Macca's going to go a favorite probably, but I'm not. I'm going for the win here. I've never won my own comp. I want to be able to say that I can win my own comp. This is the highest I've ever been. Usually I'm like 30 places down and everyone's saying, why the fuck have you got a podcast? Have you got 30 random punters that can beat you? Let's win it here. Duke DeCessa, Caulfield Cup winner in a Gong. Are you kidding me?
Strange.
One first up's over 1,600 in the autumn, so you can't tell me it can't win first up over 1,600 when it's a Caulfield Cup winner. Gringotts going to be very hard to beat. It's been proven to win with this weight before. It won last year's Gong. It won on Big Dance Day. I mean, he's beating up on a weak field. He could just piss in. And if Gringotts gets up, Macca's going to be cheering because he knows that he's taken home $3,000. Nick Highland's stepdad, Matt McVeigh, is going to be cheering because he's taken home almost $1,500. And then I'm going to be cheering because I know that nobody even can catch me in 3rd. But Duke DeCessa to bring it home for Cashy. I don't just want to beat Nick. I want to win the whole damn thing. Let's do it. Who are you on, mate?
I love the enthusiasm, Mitchell. Get amongst it. I love your enthusiasm. It makes me want to go for a Gringotts. Gringotts wins. The Gong, for me, it's tough because part of me wants to respect, a veteran proven horse in Gringotts, similar to how, I kind of underestimated, Coal Crusher in the Hunter last week. But because I always like to look for value. This time, I'm not going to make the same mistake. I think Gringotts shits it in, pisses it in. It's got the perfect gate. Its credential speaks for itself. It loves wet ground. Need I go on? Rode under a big weight for Nash in the big dance and just never looked threatened. It was just far too good for him. I could be speaking out of school here. For mine, the big dance field was a bit more interesting and better or even than this field.
Arguably, yeah.
So, yeah, for me, Gringotts goes back-to-back just like Coal Crusher went 2 out of 3 the year last week.
Annoying because I so wanted to
I'm going to go
Coal
the veterans go again. I think, next year we'll see. But, yeah, Gringotts again.
I so wanted to go Coal Crusher and I would have been closer getting
fair
a
enough,
chance to
mate.
win this. But I
Super
mean, woulda,
fair.
shoulda, coulda. So look, actually no, not the Quaddie. We're going around the grounds. Have you found anything around the country other than the features that we've touched on that you like?
Yeah, I think I know you might not want to, but I'm going to go over to WA.
I'm going over to WA as well.
Good on you. I'm going to throw my hat in the WA ring. I'm going to go to the WA Guineas and King of Light, number 1 for Willie Pikes, 4 from 4, paying $1.80. I'm going away from that though, punters. I'm not going to back $1.80. Who do you think I am? Willie Pike, they always, obviously the golden boy over there has let me down at times though when I venture there. So I'm going to go back to good old faithful Chrissy Parnham to beat and reverse the spoils on Pike with his number 4 Rockfest. I like Rockfest. I think getting up to the mile, he's pretty good at 1400, pretty good at 1200. Gets to Ascot here, going up to the mile. I think he'll rise to the occasion, and I'm going to back Rockfest to get the job done, just shy of $4 to knock off Willie Pike on his big dog fave.
Unreal. I've gone Cranbourne Race 5, Big Sexy.
Yeah.
$2.70. Great name for a horse. Shout out the show Shawsy. If you haven't seen Shawsy, you got to watch Shawsy. And his bird is Big Sexy. He calls his parrot Big Sexy. It's a great show. You need to watch it. Please go on Netflix and watch Shawsy. Race 6, Chocolates at $2.80. Was a boom favourite on, I think it was Oaks Day or might have been Cup Day, but it failed to run up to scratch. Hopefully bounces back here. In the Cranbourne Cup, I've gone Sabaj, $2.80. One for me last start. No point jumping off it, even though it's another short favourite. Gone Zoo Sensation in the Meteorite. Cranbourne's response to the Everest. Its own little D grader through C grader slot race there. And then I've gone over to Ascot again, but just call me boring. King of Light, $1.80 should piss in. And then in the Railway Stakes, Perth Horse, Pikey on board, Watch Me Rock, probably should win as the favourite. So I will be on it. I know a lot of people are going to say I'm an idiot because I'm only backing favourites here. I like Super Smink as well as a horse that's really been running well lately. I know that's also quite, it's quite wide, at 15th barrier. But if there's going to be a Sydney horse that really shouldn't be a Group 1 winner that's going to run over there and get a quick Group 1, it's probably going to be an Iona Merc. Osipenko, probably not from barrier 17, but it might just be that ridiculous that Osipenko gets a Group 1 running from barrier 17 just because Timmy Clark's on board.
That's the railway,
trains
right?
it. That's the railway.
Storyville there.
Fair enough. But yeah, we'll quickly go through the Quaddie at Kembla. Race 7, we got Dragonstone, Barbers, LLC, the Black Cloud, 1, 2, 3, 7. Race 8, we got Gringotts, Duke de Sessa, Amore, Victorious, and Waterford, 1, 2, 6, 14. And race 9, we've got Our Gold Hope, Well Timed, Collect Your Cash, and Asgarda, 3, 5, 10, 12. And in race 10, we got Yes Lulu, Midnight Dynamite, Just to Fly, and Bartol, 4, 6, 7, 8. $50 gets you 19.5%. And for the last time, if you're having one bet around the country, William, who is it and why? Who's your best bet?
Best bet of the day. Let me see. I will go back to the Gong card. You didn't tell me we're doing best bet. I asked you if we're doing best.
We always do best bet here on the Quaddie Poddy.
Let me know. I've only done this twice, potentially more next spring, or get on me, punters. But we'll go back to the Gong. Where was my best? Only because you were off it, and I could get over here. Oh no, it's $2. Ellersly's too short to be best of the day. It's a bit boring. I'll go a local boy. I'll go number 9 in race 3, my Zaragoza tip. I'll go with him as best of the day. Really strong at Kembla, really strong on the distance. I think it'll go really, really strong. Was great up in class last start, like I said. Back down a little bit to benchmark 78 class. All over him. I think Dill Gibbons will get a really good win in race 3.
Well, there you go. My best bet is, again, Amrikaya, America, however you want to say it. I just hope that it is able to bounce back here and win first up. Best roughie for me would have to be, Dawn Service if you can it as a roughie, or Just to Fly in the last. Do you have a best roughie, Will?
I'm actually not on many roughies this week, which is a little bit unlike me.
Or Duke de Sessa probably in the Gong as well.
Yeah, Duke de Sessa. I might go for that horse I chucked in the Quaddie for the Gong. Why not? I thought a more Victorious for Rachel King and Bjorn Baker wasn't the worst shout. As I've said, Gringotts will piss it in and it will win. But if a roughie comes from the clouds and gets up, I'm going to go for a more Victorious.
Well, there you go. And there's the season, punters. It's been our biggest season. And again, we can't thank you enough. This one's gone longer than we expected, over an hour. So if you're still with us, thank you very, very much. If you're going to be gambling this weekend or throughout the summer, use code Mock Sports when signing up to Dabble. Let them know we sent you. They'll take care of you.
Do it responsibly.
Gamble responsibly. Set a deposit limit when doing so. And I mean, also, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube yet, get us to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to be doing a big giveaway because we've hit 10,000 on TikTok, 10,000 on Instagram, 100 5-star reviews on Spotify, and we're looking for that 1,000 on YouTube. So if you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so. And yeah, just from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Again, we went longer than expected tonight because I indulged myself maybe a little too much reminiscing on the last 5 years.
I also talk way more than Nick. So
yeah, so I mean, so thank you for sticking around if you're still here. You're not going to see us until Magic Millions Day for our Magic Millions Day special, and then obviously Quaddie Poddy will be back in the autumn. And we are going to be looking at some new content over the summer. We're going to be looking at a whole lot more golf content, a whole lot more cricket content, and really rounding out the sports side of the Mock Sports, footy content as well as always. Racing content will be here and there, but not as much until autumn comes back. And then we're also potentially going to be looking back into getting into our interviews. We haven't done an interview since halfway through last year when we interviewed Big Kieran Briggs from the GWS Giants.
Please.
Shout out to him if he's listening. I know he tunes in from time to time. But yeah,
Give
so
you a
if you want to
shout
let
out,
us
Kieran
know
Briggs.
who you want to see us interview, let us know on the socials and we'll go chasing them. We do this for you. So if you want us to chase a certain individual, whether that be racing or sports related, let us know and we'll get straight in their DMs trying to organise an interview. But yeah, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, guys. Really appreciate it. Good luck, and we'll see you in the next one.